and as you can see, they are now formed and are beginning their parade lap. This is in reverse grid order, but it's been formed in a particular way. It's not just bottom to top. The priority has been given to drivers that have taken part in both of the previous races, and which I think leads us down to Storm, which is 16th.
Yep.
And after that, it's those that have taken part in one of the 2 rounds previously are formed behind Storm, and then anyone tagged on the back that has yet to take part, which I believe it's only this man.
Yeah, you go to the league, as I just mentioned before you hopped in there. So what car is in is also the Audi. Quite a few drivers take this season. I'm going to quickly, just because this is not the longest lap in the world, I'm going to quickly just run through the top 10 in the driver standings after the first 2 out of the 10 rounds that we have this season. So, as mentioned, Storm is leading the way by 12 points over the Heidi, which is why he is starting down in 16th, being the sort of reverse of the double finishers so far this season. And Speedyman, ahead of the reigning champion Jadier in 4th. Popsy is currently in 5th in the championship, ahead of Scott Villalobos, Ironic, Nagro, and Gribbs. Triple French group there at the bottom of the top 10. Then in the team championship, showing you this for the first time of the season, Virtual Drivers by TX3, which is the team of Storm and Popsu, sitting pretty at the top, ahead of VD Italia by TX3 with Heidi and Villalobos, the double Italian team. And you can see the rest quickly, but we now have to skip back to the track because already it is time for the race to get out of the way. King-Kodiak has all these cars flying down towards the fast first corner here at Indianapolis.
Indeed, this beautiful field of GT3 cars streaming down towards turn 1. All that Renault of Berserker getting very, very squirrely. In case you were wondering why there was Cadillac in the front, it was Andrex acting as a pace car, so that's why he's brought into the pits and he will take no further part in this session. Berserker hanging onto the lead from Nick Meadow in the McLaren. Then Dinderes in the Mercedes. Whoops, and there's a swap there for second and third. That's side by side with Johan and Steve, and the Audi winning out. But that's Nesterowicz in the. Oh, look at that! That's the Lamborghini. He's having a go at Johan in the Audi as well. He's going to try an outside maneuver at turn 7. Oh, wow! That was a big impact there. He's lost that position to Scott and Gibbs, I think, in the Mercedes, respectively. My frame rate is tanking a little bit. I apologise if that is affecting your side. So a lot of racing going on, and Berserker's already lost the lead. There he is in the Renault. The Mercedes of Dinderes and Nick Meadow in the McLaren taking over the top 2 spots.
Indeed, I do apologise for the audio issues there on the first lap. Apparently people cannot hear you in Kodiak, but it's a great shame because your voice is the most hearable voice in the world.
Oh, so, is that your side or my side? That's
my side.
Oh, okay.
So my fault. But at least it's good to see the action going on the first lap, and yeah, it's going to be crazy here, especially at the start of this 90-minute race, with the grid being so shaken up compared to what we usually see, of course, with most of them being in reverse championship order. And we can see side by side for the lead ahead of Berserker, who started on pole, dropping to 3rd place on the first lap, and we got Nick Meadow leading the way now ahead of Ginger, starting lap number 2. So a little trio forming out in front. It'll be interesting to see how far down Berserker will fall, starting from pole. And we have Nagrom into the pits in that rainbow Lamborghini. Unfortunately, he must have had some kind of contact happening on the first lap of the race, because it's not early enough, or late enough, I should say, to do the mandatory pit stop, I believe. Actually, can you do the end of the racing lap, or did you have to do 2 laps first?
No, it's end of the first racing lap that he can. So he is. I think there's been issue with our new guy as well, because he's a long way off the back of the field. So I wonder if there's been a contact between himself and Nagrim, as the only thing I can surmise. 4-way battle here. That is Gibbs, Scott, Nesterowicz and Ironic. We saw Nesterowicz in that lovely side-by-side early on. There goes the Mercedes of Scott, diving on the inside of turn 12 as they come back into the infield section. And, of course, with the way that the grid is ordered, as with any reverse grid, you have the faster drivers having to work their way past those that are maybe a little bit slower. But again, the nature of this particular track, low altitude and lots of straights, so it is really going to suit well the likes of the Mercs. So we will see how well the Audis actually stack up. That's what I'm most curious about, to see how well the Audis stack up to the Mercs and the Lambos this time around, as we see that's Nesterowicz and Gibbs side by side in the Audi and Lamborghini. Oh, and the green Lamborghini holding on to that spot, coming through 13 and 14. Ooh, that's very... Oh, no, big button. That's 7 through to 11. They've just gone through. I've lost track of where they were on circuit. So that's very, very close. And Nesterowicz having to hold 5 side by side as well. As we can see, I think it was Nesterowicz losing out to Ironic there.
Gone past him as well. Nesterowicz got a bad exit there after battling with Gibbs. I have to say, I love that green Audi livery. So Gibbs up to P6, which is good for him. I believe he started in 7th. We of course have to keep an eye on the progress of Storm, Heidi, Jardier, Speed Demon, those guys that are at the front of the standings. They have all gained about 4 positions, I'm seeing, from where they started at the moment. Out of those 4, Jardier is leading the way 9th place, ahead of Storm in 10th, Heidi 11th, and Speed Demon currently in 12th. So they're all close together, the 4 main championship contenders after the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, Heidi is staying right with Storm and Jardier. Oh dear, that's Nesterowicz that's gotten a little bit out of shape. And Storm's in trouble.
The leader, the huge wobble, trying to avoid hitting into Nesterowicz after Nesterowicz first of all got out of shape. And it's that Jardier trying to get past Ironic as well inside into turn 1, and he's got it up to 7th place. Jardier making quick work of the slightly slower cars here at the start of the race, as we got Heidi now side by side with Nesterowicz as well. He'll want to get past him as quickly as possible. He's got the inside line now. So Storm, the championship leader, has made contact with Nesterowicz. It's gone straight into the advertising boards. Is that damage to those cars? It could be crucial for Storm, the championship leader, if that has damaged the front of his Audi. Of course, a shame for Nesterowicz as well. Has dropped a lot of time going onto the grass there. Speedyman just coming through and avoiding all of that. But that is a huge moment at the start of this race.
Yep, indeed. I think I was a little bit too eager for Nesterowicz to try and return to the racing line. He hadn't realised that he was side by side with the Audi, and that has, of course, pitched him right into the middle. Colonel McCoy is in as well, so his race has gone downhill. But as we've said before, it's an hour-and-a-half race. It's measured at 63 laps in all. Here we have the Hunter in a big old pack of cars there. That's Steve, Fab Iceman, Ad Alexis. Popsu is in there as well. So Popsu hasn't managed to get very far up the field. Whether he's just been held up or whether he's had an incident, of course we don't know. It's quite a long way behind his championship contenders. Villa Lobos right with him as well. 2 Desert Pack, a couple of cars back as well. So it's just jostling going on everywhere, exactly as you would expect from a reverse grid race. Up at the front, Nick Mido and Dinder S are still fighting away. Just half a second between them. They are 4.5 seconds clear of Berserker, who was our pole man for this race. As we see, that's the Lambo of Ad Alexis that's got slightly out of shape there. Just manages to cut in front of Popsu's Audi coming through that particular complex of turns.
Again, Popsu's had a bad start, I'd have to say. Because he started further up the grid than this. He was he's definitely finished both races. He would have started in the top 16 and ahead of those top 4 in the championship that I mentioned before. So he's dropped about 6 positions at the start of this race. So
Popsu was he was due to start 12th, but we do have a couple of drivers missing from this race. So he actually started, I think it's just 1 position up. Yeah, he started in 11th and he's down there in 17th. So it's not gone well for the main contender from last season against Jardier's dominance. Dinderes still pressuring Nick Mino, as you can see there, for the lead. And then right the way back here is the beginning of a big old train behind Berserker of Johan Scott. And there's Jardier now up to 6th position. Storm is in, so yeah, he must have suffered damage after that impact with Nesterowicz, or he's just choosing to get his pit stop out of the way very early on. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he sits still for a while. And indeed he does. Now, I'm not certain whether they will actually do a whole race or nearest damage. And yeah, he was away very quick, so maybe he didn't have a lot of damage on that car. I was just saying, I'm not sure whether they will actually do, how far they will go on one set of tyres on one fuel tank. So by how quickly Storm got back underway again, it would seem that they probably don't have to pit. That's all. Jardier now up to 5th position. That is him on the inside of Johan, challenging for the inside of turn 7. So a great move then by Jardier, yeah. So
already up to 4th place, Jardier, from starting around 12th place.
He started in. Because I've moved my windows around, I lost the list.
If Popsu was 11th, then Jardier would have been 12th, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, he was, quite right.
That's very impressive stuff from him. He's certainly the quickest in terms of making progress through out of those guys that started in that area of the field. Jadiar's only got 3 more cars ahead of him. Of course, Berserker's right there, but the top 2 have 5 seconds or so up in front. But yeah, interesting with Storm going into the pits that early. I just can't see the logic behind going into the pits this early. I mean, if it was a normal length race, then sure, but 90 minutes is... can the fuel tanks even go 90 minutes, as we got Speed even as well in the pits?
And the Heidi as well.
Okay, in that case it must be planned.
Yeah, and they're only stopping very quickly, so you would think they're maybe just topping up the fuel tank and just getting on with it. So yeah, that would make me think that they can go the whole length of the race. I mean, it's got to be running the tank pretty dry, I'd have thought, as Dinder having a look for the race lead on the inside of Nick Meadow to no avail, and that's Jardier having a go on Berserker. That's going to be for third. An outside move on turn 7. A fair play to Berserker. He defended the apex line, but there was just too much grip and pace in that Audi from Jardier. Jardier now up to third place. Very nicely done. Oh, and that's the Renault getting slightly twitchy. Looks like Yuhan may well have a go on the Renault. That's how close they are. Picking up a bit of slipstream's going to dive on the inside of turn 12. And is that going to be job done? Just about, still side by side. Nicely done. Although the Renault has, I think, given that one up. Yeah, you do know when you need to learn when the position has gone, and fair play to Berserker. He held on to that as long as he could. It does look like the tail of that Renault is very, very loose. So that is Jardier to third, Yuhan to fourth, and Dinderes and Nick Meadow swap position. The Mercedes. Oh! That was...
damage potentially for Dindo's, just smacked the wall on the left side going into turn 1. That looked very weird, I have to say.
Yeah.
We didn't see exactly how that started. Maybe locked the rears, and maybe got a bit of wiggle in the braking zone, but either way, Nick Meadow going back into the lead there. Who was that in the pits?
That was Popsu in the pits. So
I would say at this point Jardier is the favourite for the win, but then you consider that all his top 3 championship rivals have already pitted and are probably running in relatively clean air at the moment. You'd expect them to be close to each other, but they don't have to really then pass these other drivers that Jardier has had to pass now. So really, it's going to be similar to round 1, where we don't know where Jardier is relative to those other guys until Jardier has also made his pit stop.
Absolutely, but we saw how well. Oh goodness me! I think a Berserker possibly getting out of the way. Doesn't have to. That's for position, but I think he's opted to go for the safer route and stay on the outside of turn 11. As that is Ironic and Gibbs fighting over position 6. But yeah, we saw how well Heidi made that undercut work in the opening round at Sonoma in the Z4. And Heidi, where is he? He's down there in 20th, but he's got one already ahead of him. That's Storm, who is also pretty quick at the moment.
So, interesting note, Popsu is 5 seconds behind Heidi, but then Speedzeman is further 3 seconds behind. So Speedzeman's lost out. He was with Heidi and Storm before they started pitting, and he was definitely ahead of Popsu. So Speedzeman has lost out. Bill Lobos now, the man Heidi's teammate, of course, who was really unlucky last week with I believe it was a disconnection or some kind of issue that forced him to not finish that race, which is also why he started very far down in this race, having only finished 1 of the 2, and he is also taking an early pit stop here in this race.
Indeed. So we still have patches of battles going on, and still the lead battle is going on between Nick Meadow and Dinderes. The McLaren doing what he can to fend off the charging Mercedes. We saw the Merc bounce off the wall the fastest lap, and because my race feed box is working because we didn't have a qualifying session. You want to guess who's got the fastest lap?
Might it be Jardier?
Storm.
Oh, I should have guessed, to be honest. Remembering last week, but that was in the rain, different conditions.
But I mean, Jardier is pressing on. He's got himself 1.5 seconds between himself and Yuhan behind, and he's closed down to about 3.5 between himself and the Mercedes ahead. Jardier opting to run for a while, and there is the lead battle once again. The Merc getting into the slipstream of the McLaren, and Nick Meadow defending the inside. I guess a little bit deep at turn 1, but there's not much gap between turns 1 and 2. Not that Dinder cares. He wanted to do an outside manoeuvre round 2, didn't get the traction where he needed it, but he is absolutely determined to do something against the McLaren ahead. My God, that engine's loud. That's the fabulous roar of the Mercedes. And our new guy, Danny, has come into the pits as well, so he's opting for a pretty early pit stop. Still a long way to go, lap 10 out of, or lap 11 rather, out of 63. So long way to go. Quite a few people getting their pit stops out of the way early.
Yeah. So Nick Media and Tinder continuing their great battle for the lead of this race. Of course, neither still in that league because I can't see Dom or the idea of those guys having pitted already, having pulled enough time to sort of be nets ahead of these guys. But this battling though isn't really going to help relative to those other fast guys in the race that are running currently in clean air. Jada, of course, catching on them as well as we speak. They're still running 25 slow previous lap, so not too slow at all. But of course, when you have a race this long and you have the opportunity to break away a little bit, you manage to get that gap at the start of the race. I would say if I was Nick Meader and Tinder, I would sort of wait with the battling a little bit, maybe try to help each other into the race and then take it afterwards. But no, they're not taking my advice. Instead, they're going on the inside into turn 1. It's going to put a little bit deep actually. Nick Meader's going to get the cut back there, but he's going to be on the outside for turn 2, which means that Tinder is going to be able to hold on to the lead of the race. Of course, when they are in an opportunity to be in the lead of the race, it's, you know, I can understand it being hard to follow my advice there, because you always want to go for that lead if you have the chance to. And after the pit stops, it might well be that they are not going to find themselves in the lead of the race anymore. So, oh well, at least they will be leading some laps each out. And Tinder with the upper hand moments.
It did look like he went a bit deep there at turn 7, so Nick Meadow is hanging on to the back of that Mercedes. Jardier is closing them down pretty quickly. He was 8 to 9 tenths quicker than the pair of them last time around. Of course, they were fighting, so we'll see if Jardier is able to maintain that particular pace. Jardier, the only one in the top 16 in the 24s, and then you got 124.5, which was only 1/10 slower than his previous fastest lap by this man. So Storm is absolutely flying at the moment. He's got no one anywhere near him. 12 seconds down the road is Noah. And there you see Heidi in the Z4. He's 3 and a bit tenths slower than Storm last time around. Again, a bit of breathing space, 2.5 seconds between the two. So Heidi is pressing on as hard as he can. I do think the Z4 is probably a little disadvantaged here. So he would have to do everything he possibly can to keep up with the championship leader. Meanwhile, Jardier is getting within a second now of Nick Meadow, so he's going to be joining in this battle. You see the McLaren has fallen off the back of the Mercedes then as they've come through turns 5 and 6. That is the view from Jardier's car. It's nearly a second between the top two now, so Nick Meadow would seem to have been, I think it was fairly clear that the McLaren was holding up the Mercedes. And that is now proving it. Tinder now getting the toe down and getting on with the job. 24.8 by Jardier. Again, last time around was 26.6 from Nick Meadow, so he did make a mistake last time. Battle for 4th is still going on. I wonder if we're going to see it from the view. Just about. There it is. It's Scott and Yuhan. They've been side by side quite a bit. There is Ironic in the lead Lamborghini. Oh, the blue Merc having a think about a inside move from turn 12 doesn't quite come off. That battle continues. Still battles up and down the field, and we're already on lap 14 now. Wow, that's really is flying by quite well. And still no pit stops then from these lead guys. As Jardier right on the tail of the McLaren. As from this camera view, I can't at all hear the Audi's engine. All I can hear is McLaren. As oh, that's Hunter in. So the Rainbow Lamborghini, he has opted for this point to bring his car in. We'll see how that transpires, but look at that, not even, or barely even 2 tenths between the two, staying well and truly in the slipstream. And Nick Meadow, he well knows that Audi's ace, staying very hard to the inside line. We saw Jardier pull this move off on Berserker last time. What a move, little bit of door banging. Still side by side coming through those turns, well defended by Nick Meadow. Oh goodness me, there was a tiny bit of door banging going on between the two, brilliantly done, but Jardier's come straight back at him on the inside of 10, second and the inside of 11. The fast right-hander leading down to the back to the infield section. Is Nick Meadow going to try and string anything outside? No, He knew that battle was lost. Had a thought about a cut back, but that is second now in the hands of Jardier.
Brilliant stuff from the reigning champion. That was high. Nick Miller definitely tried to defend that very hard indeed, and it did a good job for a while, but Jardier eventually just making his way through, and now we'll be hoping to put Nick Miller behind him and focus on catching Jindo, who's gained a couple of seconds on these guys through the battling.
24-7 from Dindo. Wow, he is finding pace in that Mercedes. Like I was saying before, I think this track is more suited to the Mercs than possibly the Audis, but Jardier is certainly looking to disprove that particular theory. But fair play to Dinder for getting into the 24s. No one right away down to Storm. Was Dinder and Jardier, sorry, are the only two to have hit that 24 mark, right the way down to Storm and Dehiant 16-17. Speed Demon with a 24-7 as well in 19th. So only a few people hitting that particular pace at the moment. So yeah, that'll obviously help Storm start to reel in people ahead. But of course he's got a lot of traffic to weed through. Oh, actually, speaking of the fastest lap has just changed. It's this man. Speed Demon, our pole man from last week in the trailing Audi there. It's Popsu he's chasing. Popsu we know has had trouble early on. And now the red and white Audi is looking to try and make a move for what is currently 18th position. But of course as the race continues, that I suspect with the pit stops coming in, a good half the field still have to do their pit stop. We will see.
It's still a crucial battle in the grand scheme of things, because both these guys in a net position are running pretty high up, of course. Yeah, we know Speed Demon is fast. He's finished third on the podium in both the first two races, so definitely want to keep an eye out on as this race goes along. There's a big battle here. Berserker!
Whoa, Berserker!
Completely out of shape, and that is Nasterius managing to avoid him, just about getting around the outside as well. Good stuff from the Lamborghini, but Berserker continuing to slide around, and that's where no one has some contact with Nasterius, who that time got out of shape, got a bit slow and maybe surprised Berserker with the speed he was carrying through that corner. Now he's gone away again though. Berserker losing speed through the chicane. Zenny now on the back of him, currently in 10th position, wants to make that 9 on the outside. This is the Jardier corner. Berserker all out of shape and bending, but braking this time on the inside, and Zenny seeing that coming, moving around the outside and gaining in that position. Good stuff from the blue and orange Audi there.
Oh, that got very close. I'm sure Zenny wouldn't have wanted that kind of close quarters. Oh, as we see Ironic bouncing off the wall.
There was some scraping with the wall.
Oh dear.
Wide, actually, that's Ironic.
Yeah, that's a little too deep into turn 12. It's so easy to do because, of course, you come onto the banking. It's very easy to kind of just miss your braking point, but he's very squirrely then out of 13. And, yeah, if anything, he looks quite slow, but I suspect that's just one mistake that he hasn't had a chance to regain his momentum from. And it looks like Gibbs in that green and black Audi is then coming onto the back of him. In that background, we can see that battle we were just looking at, Nasteric, Zenny and Berserker. There's Fab Iceman in the green Porsche, who, unfortunately, we made a bit of a mistake with when he pitted last week. We thought he pitted at the very last moment. He'd actually pitted a lap too late, and sadly was disqualified for it as he had pitted within the final 5 laps of last week's race. So that sadly gave Fab Iceman a disqualification, which put him quite a way down, because technically he wouldn't have finished the race. That's deemed a non-finish, so that put him a long way down the field, which is a bit of a shame.
He would have finished 7th last week, but instead he got disqualified, which means he's got a DNF and a DSQ so far this season. 0 points, 26th in the championship, but let's hope we can get some points on the board this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is awfully disingenuous, because I mean, we saw how quick Fab Iceman was last season in the Ferrari. He's put up a fair fight in the Porsche as well so far. So let's have a look at where everybody is. Dinderas continues to lead the race by 2.8 seconds and is setting very quick. Lap was 24.6 last time around. Great effort there. Jardier in second, 24.7, so lost a tiny bit of time against the Mercedes. 2.8 separates the top two. Nick Mino in the McLaren is 2.6 down from Jardier. Has got Scott in the Mercedes bearing down on it, which is, there he is, 25.8 for Nick Mino, 24.9. So another 24 now starting to come onto the board yet again in Mercedes. that is getting into that kind of pace. Johan, 25.7, is 2 seconds behind Scott. 6th is Ironic in the Lambo. 25 dead is 2.1 seconds behind Johan. Fairly evenly spaced in the top 6. There is Gibbs in the Thrustmaster coloured Audi, who is about 8 tenths behind Ironic. 25.1 last time around. Nesterowicz in the Lambo has got his rearview mirror full of Zenny in the Audi. 25.3 for the Lambo, 25.4 for the Audi. And then you've got Berserker, 25.5 in the Renault. So he is doing what he can to keep the pace up in the Renault. He's obviously been struggling for traction in places, but continues to press on. Fab Iceman in 11th, 2.6 behind, 25.6 last time, 25.2 by the Lambo of Adalexis in 12th. 2 Desert Pack is not far behind in his Audi. He's chasing that Lamborghini. 25.3 for him. Noah is a little bit of a lonely race there. He's 11 seconds behind 2 Desert Pack. Then Steve.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Storm.
Steve is the last man on track who has not pitted yet. So the top 15, well, now obviously Storm going through. So Storm being the leader of those that have pitted, and he's pulled quite a way from DeHeidi, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's about 3.5 seconds between DeHeidi and Storm now. So and again, I think that kind of comes to. I mean, still DeHeidi's getting 24.6 last time around. Both Storm and DeHeidi did. So DeHeidi is absolutely wringing the neck of that Z4. I just think that the characteristics of the track don't necessarily suit the Z4. Popsu in 18th place, 25.8 last time around, so he again is struggling in his Audi. There is Speed Demon. He made a mistake last time, 28.5, finds himself in 19th place. Villa Lobos in 20th is 7 seconds down from Speed Demon, pressing on in the Z4. Then it is Hunter. He came through the pits fairly recently, which is why he's down there. 25.2 last time, just about across the line. His last lap was a 25.0. along with Danny, so he's setting pretty decent pace back there. He's 30 seconds behind Hunter though, so he's got a lot of time to make up. There is Conor McCoy. He had a early problem, which sees him near the back of the field, along with Nagram as well. New fastest lap by race leader in the Mercedes, 125.319.
Wow, so Dinda setting the pace out in front. Really impressive stuff from him, considering that he
was 4 tenths quicker than Storm.
Exactly, he hasn't really been up there in the first 2 races of the season. He's finished 14th and 16th. He's down in 17th in the championship. Of course, that means it's good for him that he started quite high up in the field. Maybe it was tactical. Maybe he had this round 3 in mind. He was like, oh, I'm going to win this. That's just how 2 bad races are. But I can't imagine that's the case. Either way, Dinda showing up here in Indianapolis. Whether it's a track that suits him, whether it's a track that suits the Mercedes, or whether he just loves nitrate in the racing, I don't know. But either way, something is clicking for Dinda, and even if he started high up there, he's still showing now with his pace that he deserves to be that far up.
He's just set the fastest sector 2 as well, so that's not a one-off, it seems, by Dinda. He is on a charge as we now see the next Mercedes down the road is Scott. Inside manoeuvre, it's going to be fairly straightforward, and there it is. That's 3rd place now for Scott in the blue Mercedes. Nick Meadow is falling through the field a little bit. That's Nick Meadow still with the 25.6s, but of course when you're up against 24.5s or 24.3s as we saw last time around, as he did again 24.5, Jardier 24.6 last lap. Waves Storm. Now of course we need to keep an eye on him, exactly as you said before, as he is our championship leader. Where is he? He's just come through turn 11. He is gaining on Noah now within 3 seconds of the next car in line.
Yeah, he's going to catch Noah in not too long, but then he's got a nice 10-second gap ahead of him. So it's going to be more clean air, where he's obviously running most of this race after his pit stop in clean air, apart from that moment getting past Steve, and he's going to have quite a bit more of that before he catches up to the main sort of pack that hasn't pitted, which is 2 Desert back in 13th place and further up from there.
24.6 for Storm, as we just see to Heidi. 25.3, but I think it was held up behind Steve there in the blue Porsche. So the Z4 then sides his way past into 16th position ahead of Steve. So of course did cost Heidi a bit of time. So again, even that last lap around, Dinder was still quicker. And you can't... Storm still has no traffic directly ahead of it. So that's not traffic related. This is just Dinder has decided, right, now is my time, and I am going. 24.6 last time around. Jardier gained just shy of a 10th, 24.5. That last time around for the Audi. So Jardier is pressing on, but is having very little effect on that 3-second gap that the Silver Merc has to himself.
Yeah.
Oh, another one in. Zenny has chosen now to bring his car in.
So that's 10 out of 24 who have made their pit stop so far.
You either have a great memory or you're writing that down.
Nope, I just checked not too long ago and then it wasn't a line. Usually is that.
That's normally how numbers work. Storm then has come through 24.7 for the Audi. There's the Heidi. Oops, no, that's Zenny. 24.8, so again, that's 10 slower than Storm. So the Heidi not quite able to keep up with Storm, which is no mean feat. We've seen how fast these guys are. Ironic, it's still on the back of Yuhan. That battle has been brewing for a while. They set nearly identical laps last time around, just coming down towards turn 12 now. That Lambo is give him his dues. Ironic, he's doing pretty well in the lead Lamborghini. He's been kind of midfieldish so far. Again, I should have had the results handy of previous races and completely forgot to prepare that one.
Yeah, he's 8th in the championship, 19th and 6th, so kind of an inconsistent first 2 rounds for him.
Yeah, well, he finds himself in the 6th. He's having a look on the inside of turn 1, but doesn't choose to do it. Fire Iceman, I just saw in the background there, has got that yellow Renault. Berserker jumping straight to the inside line, but that's going to give Fab Iceman a fair shot at the racing line. Just about closes the door on the Renault before he can turn in, and that's at a Lexus that's not far behind either. That black Audi there.
Is that a lapped car then?
It's Nagram. Oh no, it's not Nagram. Is it? Who is it? It's Danny. Yeah, he's a lap down. So someone along the line, he's either made a few mistakes or he's just had a terrible stop. So
well, something bad must have happened in this race somewhere for Danny, Col McCoy and Nagram, because all of them are miles behind. And
look,
if Danny's lapped, then I mean so the two are lap as well.
Yeah, Jardier is right on the tail of Dinder. That's suddenly changed.
Dinder's had a mistake.
He must have done, because Jardier was half a tenth slower last lap around. So suddenly the Mercedes is under all kinds of pressure. Yeah, you go, 27.0 for the Mercedes, 24.3. That's almost the fastest lap, not quite, as it hasn't reported on the race feed for me. So that's getting real near top lap, fastest lap pace for Jardier. And Storm is right with Noah, so Storm now has got some traffic to deal with. He's not long gone past... Who's going to come into the shot? That's Nagram, I believe, in the multicolored Lamborghini. Yes, it is. So Storm has had some traffic this time around. Next guy, as I say, is Noah. That's going to be for 13th place. That is for position. And what's Storm's lap this time? 24.7. So he's maintaining that impressive pace. But now, look at that. Jardier is nailed now to the back of that Mercedes. He must be very pleased that for that mistake for Dinder, because Jardier was either just pacing himself or was struggling to close in on the Mercedes. And now a real battle on Hasbro. Of course, Jardier's been through the pits, or has he? No, he hasn't. No, beg your pardon.
Yeah, it's. I'm not sure how I would feel about this if I was Jardier actually, because obviously yes, he'll be pleased that he's been able to close the gap on Dinder with that mistake. But of course, if they now get into a really feisty battle, both of them are going to lose significant amount of time on those pitters that are running in clean air at the moment, Storm, Heidi, etc. So Jardier might be hoping that either he gets past Dinder relatively quick air, or that Dinder will continue to keep enough of a good pace to not lose him at least too much.
Indeed, and I'm sure they will figure that out in their own special way. And yeah, that Mercedes has been pretty mighty, but of course as they defend, they will start pushing them back. And Jardier thinking about an inside manoeuvre at 7. Dinder's not defended that line, and no, Jardier opted not to. It did look like the Mercedes went a little bit deep into the first part of that twisty section. It looks like Jardier is trying to shape up for an undercut somewhere. He's going to go for it. Now he's going to try it on turn 10. No, he couldn't get the traction. We needed it. And a great then defensive positioning by Dinder. He's going to have a look at the inside of 12. No, well defended.
No, not quite.
And indeed, no, he's going to go for a goal! What a cutback by the Audi! That was beautifully done by Jardier. Our current champion absolutely timed that perfectly to throw there on the inside of turn 12 and has got the lead then. And it all comes down to whether, if he's going to defend from the Mercedes. Whoops, as Dinder nearly bounces off the wall. But of course, we've seen how quick. Dinder, we've seen a second faster than this already. So we will see if he is able to do something now, attacking the Audi instead of defending against it.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen Dinder's pace, and that he can match with Jardier on pace, but can he match with him in a battle is the question. Of course, we saw Dinder at the start of the race for quite a few laps lose a lot of time fighting with a Nick Meadow, who has proven later on to be clearly slower than these two. So that'd be interesting to see. Speaking of Nick Meadow, here he is battling away with the.
It was ironic.
He's battling with ironic, and another man in the battle as well is Gibbs. Just behind, he's now going to have the outside line on ironic. Actually, ironic breaking too late. This one barely clattering the side of Nick Meadow, luckily avoiding him, losing him time, and Gibbs gets through in the end. Good job from ironic to avoiding that McLaren once he made that mistake, to at least avoid damage on those cars. But Gibbs looking up then, he started behind Nick Meadow, and which means that he has caught him throughout this race, and has now the chance to move himself into the top 5 as it stands.
Yeah, Gibbs started in 9th, so Nick Meadow of course starting in 2nd. So he's done pretty well to get back onto the McLaren's pace. Surely he's having a look. He's having a think of it. Look how defensive Nick Meadow's gone. He's wanted to close the door on the inside line into turn 1. Now Gibbs having to think about an outside move. Is it going to be a cutback? Oh no, that was well parked there by the McLaren to prevent Gibbs doing a cutback. We could just see ironic. And Nesterowicz aren't too far behind either. Oh, wow!
Surprise move there, I think, from Gibbs. Nick Meadow probably didn't expect him to throw his car up the inside through that relatively fast right-hander.
Yeah!
Gibbs gets it done, forcing Nick Meadow to take a wide line and losing time through that corner. Fantastic stuff.
What a move by Gibbs there. That caught me by surprise as well. That was absolutely stunning. Very, very nicely done. But Nesterowicz is catching the back of ironic, so ironic hasn't quite managed to get back into his rhythm from that battle for 5th that he was previously in. As that one mistake we saw ironic do is put him down. Oops, Nesterowicz running a little bit wide there on the exit at 10. So he's got to be careful in that Lamborghini. And Dinder looks like he's losing time against Jardier. That's now 6/10 between the two. 24-9. Actually gained 4 tenths that time around. So it's not done and dusted for Jardier yet, it would seem. That battle rages on. Nick Meadow is trying to chase Gibbs, but he's already lost 7 tenths to the Audi. Wow, the Thrustmaster Audi's got some pace. Well, Nick Meadow's lost his pace. It's 26.5, so comparatively quite slow compared to those around him. I'm still keeping an eye on Storm's lap times. That's 24.5 for our championship leader, so he's still right up there with leader's pace, but interestingly he's not exceeding the leader's pace, so he's catching on those around him, but he's not realistically closing in on the top spot. Jardier has now got his foot down, fastest sector 1 time, so we might be seeing a new fastest lap on the board. Jardier now choosing, no sooner do I say that Dinder responds, new sector 2 time. I know you can't see that, but again, that pops up on my race feed. So the Mercedes is not wanting to let that Audi go at all. But we've had battles all race long. We're very fast approaching we've got another, what, 8 laps or so before we hit halfway in this race. It's absolutely it's flying by for me, certainly. Yeah, several battles going on. Of course, we have that lead one, which has Dinder made a mistake somewhere? No. Oh, New Fuss is out 24-1 by the Audi of Jardier. Wow, he found a lot of time in that last sector. That's 2/10 quicker than Dinder's last fastest lap. That's put nearly a second between the two. Ironic has come in. So the Lambo deciding to bring his car in before the halfway point. Other battles we've got going on. That's 2 Desert Pack is chasing Berserker. The Renault doing his best to keep pace, but has been struggling, I think it's fair to say. Noah is on the back of De Heidi, so the Z4 has worked its way past the Audi at some stage. And a 3-way battle here. Speed Demon, Popsu and Steve is raging on. That's 16th, 17th and 18th.
Yeah, unfortunately for Steve, I do believe he's not pitted yet.
What a shame.
He is seemingly struggling quite a bit in this race.
Well, he started in 3rd, so
yeah,
that's going horribly wrong for him. That's ironic. You can see trundling along. It's going to, of course, put him towards the back of the field. And wow, Jardier is absolutely pressing on. He's continuing to build that gap at the front. They are now coming around the last turn, turn 14. Let's see what the lap times are this time. 24.3, 24.5, so another 2/10 to the Audi's favour.
I think Stevie's saying that there's no sound again, but I don't know why that is, because my OBS is picking up sound. If someone else can let me know in the chat whether you're hearing sound, that'd be great. Because OBS is saying sound.
Oh, well,
anyway,
I'm getting sound, I know that much.
Okay.
Doesn't help you.
Stevie, what's yours up? Looking at Gibbs then, who is closing in on Johan, who started up towards the front. Johan hasn't been quite at the pace that we know he can do. Running in the 25s at the moment. Gibbs a little bit lower on the 25s, which means he is catching. Because Johan sitting low down in the championship as well, 16th place, whereas Gibbs just about within the top 10 in the standings after 2 rounds. Could be a close battle this for 4th place. And actually, I would keep looking at a Storm, and he's not really closing. Oh my god, who is that? Oh, he's actually battling.
No,
Wait.
That's the lap runner.
Oh.
That
okay, yeah.
is...
It looks like a battle because he was not going for the inside line and everything. So.
It's Colonel That's Colonel McCoy, unfortunately. That's had a lap. So he can chase the leader for a while. That's the view from Colonel McCoy. But, yeah.
With Storm, he's not really catching the pack as quickly as I thought he would.
Yeah, likewise. I thought he would be... I mean, he's still in the 24s. De Heidi was a little bit quicker. De Heidi's still right there. There you can just see the next car down the road. There he is. That's 2.5 seconds. So the Z4 has managed to keep pace with TX3 Storm. But yeah, exactly as you say, it's 24.7, which is still very quick. Let's not mistake that. But he's not been able to close in on the top 2. Dinder was 2/10 quicker than Jardier. Again, 24.7 for the Audi, 24.5 for the Mercedes. So Dinder is not ready to let that go at all. Gibbs, as we saw, was chasing Johan. Nesterovic is right around where Nick Meadow is. Of course, Storm he's got a fair bit of clear track ahead of him. There's 8 seconds or so to 2 Desert Pack, and then there you got Danny in the middle of the 2. Of course, he won't hold up Storm to any degree. He will, of course, be under blue flags, so we'll have to obey those. But yeah, 24.9 from Storm last time, 24.3 from De Heidi. So we could see those 2 crossing swords again. As Steve, exactly as you say, he has brought his Porsche in. Had not been in previously, or we assume he hadn't been in previously. There's a bit of a rearrangement going on the bumper of the Porsche. There he goes. Wasn't stationary for long, so that is going to drop him down even further. So a bit of a shame as he started in 3rd. That is the nature of the beast, unfortunately.
Pit stop number 12 then, which means half of the drivers in the race at the moment have been through the pits, and half of them we are still waiting for. So Steve's gonna come out, well behind Ironic, and probably down with Danny. I'm not quite sure where Danny is at the moment. Now he's still quite far off. So Steve's gonna be in 21st place, outside of the points at the moment.
Is that someone else coming in? It is indeed. It's 2 Desert Pack.
11th place.
Well, almost, oh, that's not how you navigate the pits, he does back. So, yeah, you don't generally use the water turn. You are going. I was just worried he wasn't going to go and do his pit boss for a minute then. Ooh.
Well, he's just taking the realistic line,
Yeah.
Instead of driving through everyone's piss box, like something.
Yeah. Dinder's closed in a bit on Jardier. They were a tenth apart last time to Jardier's favour. But still, with that blistering 24-4 and 24-5, Storm was 24-3. He's now up to 11th. 24-4 for Deheide. 24-6 for Speed Demon as well. Let's not forget they're not the only ones putting in 24s. Villa Lobos actually got a 24 as well. That's Villa Lobos and Zenny that are fighting at the moment. Of course, Villa Lobos in the Z4. Zenny with a 26-0 last time around of the Audi. That is a battle that is raging on. And another close one is Gibbs and Yuhan. He's been staring at the back of that red and white Audi for a while now. And half a second is what separates them. Yuhan managed to open up just about a tenth over his chasing adversary. Look where Nick Meadow really has fallen off the back. There's Mistero, which you can just see behind the Audi, behind the McLaren rather. And Fab Iceman's brought his Porsche in. Another one to tick off the list.
So that's 13 then. So he was in 10th position. It's interesting seeing Smoking Puppy in the chat saying that he calculated off ironic pit stop that there is about a 60-second pit delta, which sounds a lot in my view, because that would mean Storm is in the lead over Jardier by 22 seconds, which I can't quite see how he's managed that. I mean, I know Jardier has had to pass more cars than Storm in this race because of he not doing another pit stop, but I really can't see him having lost that much time, considering his lap times usually have been in the 24s, just like Storm's have. So could be ironic, maybe he had a slower pit stop compared to normal. But at the same time, I wouldn't count out that Storm is actually in the net lead. But I can't see it by that much.
Well, it is possible because the speed pit limiter is exceedingly slow. It's 35 miles an hour, 50 kilometers an hour.
Yeah,
so
the thing is, Jardier was ahead of Storm though when Storm pitted, and both of them have mostly been in the 24s afterwards.
True, and by and large, the front two have been ahead. And another fastest sector now is by Dinder, so the Mercedes once more on the move. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if the top two choose to pit late.
Yeah.
As we saw.
I mean, yeah, there's no reason for Jardier and Dinder really to pit at the moment, as long as they're not holding each other up at least. Just run the fuel tank down, just as long as you're not starting to feel a problem with the tires. But I mean, we know with the tires in these cars, it doesn't seem to be affecting them too badly, really. In this league, of course, if we didn't have the mandatory pit stops, we would have expected, even in a 90% race, probably these drivers to go for the full race without a pit stop. So, don't think the tires are really going to be that big a problem. And of course, you do lose time in the pit stop if you want to do that as well.
Starting to see some more 24s kick in. Of course, our top two still right in there. A bit of traffic that they have to negotiate at the moment. 24-5, 24-8 by our leading pair. 24-8 last time around for Yuhan. So he's still fending off that Thrustmaster coloured Audi. And a new fastest sector 2 by someone we haven't actually looked at in a while. This man's on the move. CX3 Deheide looking to get his foot down and make up some time to his arch nemesis of Storm. Storm is Berserker is in on the or almost at the halfway stage. The Renault has opted to come in, so that of course elevates Storm and Deheide up another. Storm has got traffic. That's both of the cars ahead. That's Steve and I assume Danny. Certainly Steve in the blue Porsche. He'll be under blue flag, so he will have to yield at some point. I'm assuming that's Danny just down the road. Yes, it is. And there is Steve. He hit the brakes just coming into turn 4, so that allowed Storm to go through. Storm's got 8.5 seconds to close into Adalex's 24-2 for Storm last time around. A good few tenths quicker than our leading pair. So now Storm is starting to find some pace out there. He didn't particularly lose it per se, but ironically he's finding pace in traffic. That's a slightly unusual one.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm just looking at lap counter. We're over halfway point now, but I can't believe there's still 22 laps left in the pit window. I just want to see Tanya pit and see where it comes out. I don't know if it's going to be with the Storm. Is it going to be just ahead? Is it going to be behind someone? If so, by how much? So yeah, we really don't know these things. Storm and the Heidi, what we do know, of course, is that they have been running really good pace. 34.2 and 34.1.
Or 24.175 by the Heidi, no less. Ouch! Goodness me. And that wasn't fastest lap either. Struth alive. Let's see who else is in a battle. Gibbs, of course, is still nailed to the back of Johan. Nesterovic is chasing Nick Mido. So that's for 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th respectively. Villalobos is on the back of Zenny. That's for 14th. And 2 Desert Pack is chasing Fab Iceman for 17th. Everyone else is relatively spaced out or has various... Oh, Speed Demon's up there as well. 24.3 last time around. So, again, he had a very good run last week. Well, started from pole. Wasn't able to convert the pole to a win. But he's got some pace in the Audi still. Oh, nearly identical times by our top two. I think they have 24.8, but they are ferreting their way through traffic. So I'm not entirely surprised they are a little bit further down where they normally are. Let's see where Storm is. Storm's still... I mean, that is 37 seconds between himself and lead, but exactly as you say, there's a 60-second delta there. That's is going to reshuffle the order somewhat.
Yeah, definitely is. I mean, if that is the case, that the pit stop is actually that long, then that means Storm is leading the next race here, definitely. By 3 seconds over the Heidi. Those two running very similar pace now. They've been about 3 seconds apart for many laps now. The Storm, of course, now coming up to another back marker.
We've just lost Nagrim, our first retiree.
That's impressive, though. This long into the race for the first retiree. That's at least way longer than we usually have to wait for it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
actually goes off the track to that Storm through.
That's an effective way of doing it, but slightly overkill. Yeah, we did have 25 at the beginning. That, of course, included Andrex in the pace car. So that's why that's why I'm saying we've only actually lost one so far. And yeah, just everyone else is kind of continuing on their merry way. And because Danny fell off the track, he's now I think he's now got Steve for company. Steve actually gained a position because of that. He gained that 21st spot from the Audi falling off the road. So at least there's battles up and down the field, which is exactly what we say every single week. There is always battles somewhere to find.
Yeah.
Maybe not always the battles we kind of expect to see, but nevertheless, there are people battling for positions. Whether they want to be battling for positions or not is another matter. It looks like Johan's got Scott rather has got a face full of back markers. Just looking at where he is in position to the map. But yeah, I'm actually a little surprised we've got so many people going this late without pit stops. I kind of thought that would have had more pit stops by now.
Yeah, well, it could just be that Jolly just enjoys his clean air and expects that when he does make a pit stop, he'll fall out of the direct close to someone at least. Then again, if he falls out of the track ahead of people like Storm, Heidi, etc., then at least he will have the chance to defend from them. But if it is like we think, based on the suspected pit stop delta, Jada will actually be behind them.
He'll be behind Speed Demon.
Yeah, I mean, it risks then having to battle people, for the rest of the race. But at the same time, he'll kind of know where he is relative to the other guys, at least, so he kind of knows how much he needs to push and whether he needs to make overtakes. At the moment, he's just running his pace, but he actually has no clue, just like us, where he will actually fit out in the race after the pit stops. Then again, the long game is it's probably for the best pace-wise to just stay out there and just hope for the best at the end.
Absolutely. Dinder's made a couple of mistakes. He's now 2.5 seconds off the back of Jardier. Let's see what Storm 1:24.1. New fastest lap by this man, TX3 Storm. 1:24.141. Absolutely blistering. He's now opened up 4 seconds between himself and Dahidi. Dahidi 24.799. Last time you could just about see the Z4 in the background of the shot, but goodness me, Storm doing everything he can to really press on and close in that gap.
He's pulled over 6/10 on Dahidi that lap. He's pulled 5/10 on Jadier. Also in front as well. So Storm is the man with the pace at the moment, as we saw from him last time in the wet at Rapuna.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could be a second consecutive win then for the championship leader. He's certainly looking fast as something that doesn't rhyme with
Fast as a fast thing.
Yes.
but again, he's being chased by Dahidi. So Dahidi, of course, our race winner from the opening round at Sonoma. Didn't fare quite so well last week, but is looking to keep right at the sharp end of the field. Noah is up there in third, but I don't think Noah has been in yet.
He has not.
No. Speed Demon is not doing too badly, in fairness, although he is 15 seconds behind Dahidi at the moment, so he's probably not going to be looking to challenge, but that could well be a net third for Speed Demon if it is indeed a minute's loss in the pits. Where's Jardier? He's got a back marker ahead of him. That will be Hunter? No, don't know who that is. I can never remember who's in what. I know Nagram runs one of those Lambos, but he's already out, so not entirely sure whose Lamborghini that is.
The thing is, with the pit stop delta having been worked out to 60 seconds from Ironic, I think Ironic actually has had a slower pit stop than normal, because he's currently behind to Desert Pack, he's behind Iceman, he's behind Hunter, he's behind several
he's a
drivers.
long way back, isn't he?
I think he actually was ahead of a lot of those guys before the pit stop, so
good point.
He either made a mistake in the pits, or he's had some...
He could have had damage.
Some repairs, yeah, exactly.
24.2 from Jardier last time around. 24.3 from Storm. 24.6 from Dahidi. Again, whilst we may be focusing on the same three names, that is, we're looking at who's towards the sharper end of the championship. That's why we keep looking at what their lap times are, as opposed to anyone that is still battling. Speaking of which, Gibbs still battles Yuhan. He must be getting pretty fed up staring at the back of that Audi. Nesterowicz still battles Nick Meadow. So that's still fourth and fifth, and sixth and seventh. They're not; those two respective battles are not that close to each other. They're about 7 seconds apart. Those two pairs still fight on. Villalobos in the second Z4 still fights with Zenny. Fab Iceman and 2 Desert Pack are having a squabble for 17th. Berserker's just lost that 19th to Ironic.
Berserker, by the way, is in his favourite position. He's finished 20th in the first 2 rounds, and is currently in the same spot.
Seems to be as consistent. And he finds himself 28 seconds ahead of Danny, so he could well maintain that, as we are on lap 42 now out of 63. 24.4 from Jardier, 25 dead from Dinder, so he's lost a bit of pace. Actually, Scott in the next... Is that 24.6 actually by the blue Mercedes? So we're starting to see, as I said, now the cars are getting lighter. We're seeing those 24 start to creep in a bit more. Also bearing in mind that now I'm looking at the gap to leader, and that's still around 37. So let's see what Storm does this time. It hasn't changed a lot.
The gap to leader was 36 at some point, so I wonder if that is just time is fluctuating. Yeah, we're back in the 36s now.
Yeah. Well, it will do.
A bit inconsistent though. Oh, 35s now even.
Oh, yeah, maybe it has gained a little bit.
And back to 36. Yeah, so the time is clearly fluctuating a little bit depending on where they are on the track at any particular point.
But yet another 24.3 for Storm. He's 3 seconds behind Adalexis now. Adalexis doesn't have to let him go. That's obviously 4th track position for 8th place. So we'll see whether Adalexis fights, which could, of course, hold Storm up. We will see. Still plenty of racing to go.
21 laps to go in this longest ever race in the AOR GT3 leagues. Of course, all of the GTers we have for this season, running this format for round 3 of the season. And yeah, the longest previous race that we had was in season 7, where we had 75-minute races, as Poppy pointed out in the chat a long time ago, but I still remember. This is the closest we've been in this league to an endurance race. Of course, we do have an endurance league running occasionally as well,
which we do,
which Andrex knows everything about, and you as well.
I have commentated on them before. Yes, they are. There's still testing going on for the next LMP series. I actually had the opportunity in the last test race to commentate on the LMP 1Hs, the new LMP cars that were released. And that was great fun. We had 2.4 hours of COTA with the LMP 1Hs and GTEs. Yeah, that was good fun to watch. Noah has brought his car in as well. Oh, a 21.159. By Storm. It's just 100th off his previous best. Really pressing on. Half a second he's gained on the leaders this time.
So, Noah, it's probably going to drop quite far down.
Oh, we've lost Iceman. We just
really?
lost Fab Iceman from the list.
Oh man, he's going to stay on 0 points then in the championship.
A great shame.
Yeah, so
he will not be pleased, but sadly, it's the way it goes sometimes. Your race just doesn't happen when the stars don't align or what have you. That is indeed what can happen. Let's see where Noah is. Out comes Noah.
See on the points go down to P20. He's 18th at the moment. Will any go past? Yeah, Berserker in the red just sneaking past him on the pit exit there. And Danny is quite far behind, I think, so that could be a battle then. For 1 extra point, of course, 3 points for 18th and 2 for 19th, so at least they have something to dig into on the track. That's Nesterovic then into the pits as well in that black Lamborghini.
Yep.
He's stationary for longer than we've seen a lot of drivers be, to be fair. Maybe some repairs on him as well. We of course have seen Nesterovic off the track a couple of times.
Just true. I would think, actually, judging by the fact that he was 17 seconds down on his best, assuming he didn't make an almighty great mistake on the previous lap, he was 17 seconds at the point he crossed the line, so a minute pit stop delta may not actually be too far wrong. Which means Storm is having an absolute cracker.
Yeah, I mean, I think we know Storm is having a cracker anyway, but
just because of who he is.
How massive the cracker is.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's really closing in on Alexis now. As the other battles we've been looking at have pretty much dispersed now. 24-2 by Jardier up at the front. 24-3 last time by Storm. Oh, Jardier's just got fastest final sector on that last lap, so that will help with the 24-2. 24-4 by Storm, so he lost a couple of tenths on that lap. And Heidi almost matched Storm's lap last time around.
I think Berserker's having a problem. He's just dropped 2 positions and a lot of time, so he is into the pits.
Oh, he's lost his rear wing.
Oh.
Yep, that's a big old problem he's had.
That's not going to help him avoid those wiggles that he's been struggling with.
No. Maybe he was on his way out and he just decided to snap the thing off. I doubt it somehow.
Well, maybe he wasn't happy with the straight line speed of the car. Just,
I want to do the Indy circuit. Never mind. So that is Berserker in the pit again. Now, of course, going to drop him down. Now, just had a look at Nesterovic just crossed the line again. He was about 17 seconds down as he crossed the line, and then a further 34 seconds. So yeah, that's not a great far off a minute. Total pit stop loss.
Of course, we have seen faster pit stops than what has ever seen as well. For
True.
example, Storm, and some of those guys were barely stationary in the box. I mean, of course, you have to add some fuel in this race, because I don't think the fuel tanks, unlike normal, where they will easily go 60 minutes, the normal race distance, but I don't think they can quite go 90. Another thing I seem to remember Smoking Puppy mentioning in the chat, he's been very active in the chat. Oh! What was that? No, that was
That's Alexis jumping out of the way.
It was Alexis,
yeah. Well, he either went deep into turn 1, but it didn't look like it. The line looked okay. I think he just jumped out of the way. But you realistically know which fights you're in, so that's fair enough. I was hoping Alexis might put up a bit of a fight, but again, he realises that Storm has got better pace over him and didn't want to lose time himself, so has chosen to carry on. Oh, Alexis, speaking of, he set the fastest Sector 2 last time. So he has the pace in the Lambo. Did 24.8 last time, 24.3 by De Heide. So he needn't necessarily have jumped out of the way, but maybe it might have been a one-off, maybe in slipstream, who knows?
It's a mistake then, probably, for him to get out of shape. But
they continue on nonetheless, and Yuhan is in.
From P5? Oh, God, no, he was running ahead of Gibbs, wasn't he?
He was, so that's fourth he's coming from.
He was running fourth for quite a while.
And let's see how long he stays in there for. That's a bit longer than we've seen previously as well. So, that was quite a while. On he goes then. And Alexis is still with Storm, but Storm has already opened up a second over the Lamborghini. So he made a mistake last time, 26.5. So he lost 2 seconds in that last lap.
Oh, there's an advertising budget's jiggling on the track there also.
Yeah, someone's...
I wonder if that's all the way from the first lap when Esterovich was flying through them.
An alternate route.
I haven't actually noticed it until now. Yeah, or it could be bizarre.
Yeah, it could be.
Either way, Yuan seems to have popped back out on track in 11th place, ahead of Zenny, who we haven't seen for a while. We saw him make a move earlier on in the race. He's going to be 4 seconds behind Yuan.
Yeah,
that's still been a decent net position, of course. It's still the top 7 bar Storm, so that's 6 drivers I haven't pitted yet.
Yeah. Gosh, Jardier is leaving it. I mean, we really are pressing on. We are, lap 48, so it's another, 16 laps to do? He's leaving that really quite late. Let's hope he doesn't get kind of caught out the same way Fab Iceman did last week. That'll be...
What's that going on behind? Is that a battle between cars that are lapped or something?
One of those is. That'll be VAR. I know that is. It's Villalobos and Zenny.
Oh, so that's established a battle for position actually. This is for 11th place. No, for 12th place.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And they're going side by side down. I was going to say the main straight, but that's not quite it. Because they have this little last section of quarters to get through before they can get properly onto the main straight. Villalobos getting very feisty here with Zenny. Crucial for the team championship potential, of course. Villalobos running in the team with De Heide. And they will want to take the challenge to the team of Opsu and Storm. And here we go on the inside line for Villalobos, who will break latest out of these two into the first corner. The Z4 or the Audi. Looks like it's a Z4 at the moment, but the Audi trying to hold on around the outside of the contact. Villalobos sort of squeezed him down to the curb. And out of shape, saves it and gets the position. A bit aggressive potentially, but either way, Villalobos is the car ahead of Zenny, and that's he will certainly be pleased with that move.
Yeah, but I think Zenny's had a good run through that chicane. He's looking to try and now do an outside move. Good defensive positioning there by the Z4. Oh, nearly pushing the Lambo onto the grass. The Audi rather onto the grass. So we saw this kind of switchback going on before, for when Jardier overtook Binder for the lead. Is it going to go the same way for the Audi? Not quite. Wasn't able to get the traction where he needed it. That's the Hunter in the background. Alexis has brought his car in, so that Lamborghini has got to his pit marks there. That was ahead of De Heide, so that was in 7th. Oh, and Alexis has got a penalty. A 10-second penalty. Speeding in the pit lane, yes. Oops. He was already on his marks, so he must have either accidentally dropped either dropped off the speed limiter too early, or possibly done it when he was in the box. So, oh dear, that could potentially hurt.
Yeah, certainly will hurt. He'll be slotting back out on track in 14th position. But Nesterovic and possibly Tedesco as well should be within 10 seconds behind him, so it could be quite costly. That's penalty for him. Yeah, Nesterovic is right behind him, in fact. I think that was yeah, so just ahead of...
no, that's Scott
that's
in
Scott,
the...
yeah, so he's running third. He hasn't hit it yet.
Nope.
The blue Mercedes.
Storm's got someone to fight with. It's the McLaren of Nick Meadow.
Hey! This is the first time in a while, really, that Storm has had to battle, of course. He
would have battled out Alexis if he didn't fall off.
Yeah,
if he hadn't fell off the track. So,
a little bit of luck you have to have as well. But now then, let's see how Storm navigates the McLaren, the sole McLaren, who's been running relatively well. I mean, Meadow is 34 seconds off the current lead of the race. So he's dropped a lot of time considering, well, 30 seconds to Dinda, who was battling with for the lead at the start of the race. But still, hanging that McLaren in there.
Oh, Jardier's in! Jardier's in!
Oh, this is the crucial moment then.
I might have gotten excited at that.
It's like he's made an overtake or something. Where will Jardier be compared to Storm and Heidi? And if he's not close to them, where will he be compared to Popsu and Speed Demon? There's a 30-second gap between Storm, Heidi and Popsu and Speed Demon. So,
Scott's in as well.
If we're unlucky, he'll pop in right between those and be nowhere near any of them. But let's see then. Jardier and Scott, crucial pit stops. Need to not make any mistakes in the box. Jardier is coming back out now. He is still, as he stands, ahead of Storm.
There's Storm. He's coming. That's the McLaren you've just seen coming onto the straight. So he's going to lose the lead.
He's not going fast enough down the pit lane.
Where is Jardier? Where is he? He's lost the position. Storm has got into the lead. Storm's still fighting Nick Meadow though. So that is going to hold him up. And Jardier is behind Heidi as well. So that has dropped him down to third overall, because Nick Meadow, Gibbs and Dinda haven't been in yet. So yeah, that hasn't paid off entirely for Jardier, but that's Heidi. So he is within a second of the Z4, as Storm has now got past Nick Meadow. The McLaren then has succumbed to the Audi, so Storm didn't lose a great deal of time behind Nick Meadow. Whoops, and that's a little bit deep into turn 7 for Storm. So yeah, Jardier has got it to do, but he has made the passes on these guys previously. He's going to have to do it all over again. But now it is a straight fight to the finish.
Straight fight to the finish. Jardier in a net third position and in this race, and that is 3 of the top 4 in the championship in the podium positions. Will be when the rest of the guys pit out in front. So just behind Heidi. That could be a very close battle, and then there's still about 4 seconds up to Storm after we got past Nick Meadow. Interesting thing with Scott, he is ahead of Popsu and Johan and Speed Demon. So Speed Demon has lost a lot of time somewhere really, compared to, I mean, it wasn't that far away from the Heidi and Storm in the early stages of this race, but throughout the race he's just lost quite a bit last time as well. 1:33.5. He's had a mistake recently. That's Speed Demon, who's sitting third in the championship. So this could certainly, as it stands, drop him down at least to 4th behind Jardier.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is Popsu.
And Dinda as well. I mean, Dinda wasn't far off Jardier, so he should be coming up out in the net 4th place when he pits.
And that's exactly what Dinda needs. He's had a 14th and 16th so far in the season. And there, speak of the devil, there he is. Then he's going to come in. And that will put him, we're still kind of working around, say a 50-second net loss. That will put him around about 8th place. So we will see then where that silver Merc appears. Gibbs is continuing. Oh no, beg your pardon, Gibbs hasn't got there yet. A little ahead of himself. See what the Thrustmaster Coloured Audi does. He has not come in, so he is looking to continue. Storm, of course, he's not going to come in the pits. And there is somebody else coming in. No, possibly not. So Nick Meadow then. That's not Heidi directly behind That's Jardier having a look on Heidi, or forcing Heidi into the defensive move. And no, nothing's going to come out of it this time. Oh, that's someone that's gone possibly deep at turn 1. Whoever it was. It wasn't Nigmido. It's a lap. And Dinder is out in 6th. He's got a good minute between himself and Scott, I think. The time is wrong. So 10 seconds. So there's a comfortable gap between Dinder and Scott then. So Dinder doesn't have to put too hard. There's 10. So he's equidistant between Jardier and Scott then. 10 seconds either way.
Yeah, he's gonna have a lonely race in the end.
No such comforts though for Storm, Heidi and Jardier. Storm has still got a lead of about 3 seconds over to Heidi. You can just about see him, but he's the lead car of this particular train we're looking at. That's Noah that's getting out of the way there. I thought Jardier was going to clip the nose there. Jardier chases to Heidi, who is chasing Nigmido. Storm at the moment is just running after the lead that Gibbs currently holds. Gibbs has got to come in. He has to come in before lap 58. That was someone. There is a car in the pits. It's one of the. It's someone that's retired. That's what keeps catching me out. They won 24-1 by De Heidi.
Yeah, but he's going to be frustrated now. Nigmido was 1.4 seconds slower that last lap, and De Heidi's going to be now right behind him. Oh yeah, the speed behind is carrying ahead of Nigmido. Potentially, chance for an incident if he's not too careful, but maybe not, because De Heidi, Nigmido actually wants to defend, or does he? No, De Heidi goes even more to the inside, and he's going to have it done if he can sort of breaking out. Oh, Johnny trying to follow through as well immediately. It's going to be side by side through this again. Now he's backed out of that one. This is not really a place you want to be side by side. Now though, he's done this cutback move before, and
there he goes again.
Johnny perfectly timed once again. It's such a hard thing to time as well. If you're a bit too eager, you just end up hitting the back of the other car. But Johnny again has timed that very well indeed, getting the inside line for the next corner, so following De Heidi straight through, crucially for that battle for net second place in the race, as Nigmido is now finally heading into the pits.
Yeah, he has chosen now to bring that orange McLaren in, and Gibbs has also come in, so that's the top two, the last people that hadn't pitted from the top spots are now in, so our top 3 at least are now, inverted commas, correct. So Storm leads the way with, what have we got, 9 laps to go. 24.3 by the Audi, 24.5 by the Z4, 24.6 by the Audi, 24.9 by Dinder. Dinder finds himself 10.5 behind the podium battle. Scott at 24.4, so there's pace in that particular Mercedes still to go. Popsu is he's just coming down the main straight, so he's going to gain a couple of positions, so he's going to jump up to 6th position. There he goes. That's Berserker in the Renault, but Berserker is not on the same lap. Berserker is last, so he will not be he shouldn't be holding up.
Gibbs has come out just there to speed him, I think.
He has.
Oh, and his right with him as well, side by side for 8th position. Out of the pits for Gibson, straight into a battle and speed him and gets it. Just having that momentum around the first few corners, and that's is that just behind time? It's not Zenny.
No, that is Berserker.
So it's a lap car then.
Gunnar McCoy.
So, yeah, there we go. So he's in the last point position at the moment. So Gibson, kind of bad timing for him to come out of the pits right there and losing that position. He's going to be 9th. Nigmido also pitted, is in 12th. So everyone now has pitted, which means the positions they're currently in is their actual positions in this race, and the positions they will have to fight for, whether to gain any more or to keep whatever position they're in for the last 8 laps of this race.
Nigmido is being chased by the Hunter as well in the multicolored Lambo, so Nigmido doesn't get any respite. Straight under pressure. Villalobos chases Zenny, Gibbs chases Speed Demon, and Jardier chases to Heidi. At the moment, Storm has got blank track ahead of him, I think. I don't think he's got any back markers to come, not for a while at least. 2 seconds separates the top two at 24.183 by Chardier. He is not giving up whatsoever on the top honours. He's got 3 seconds to gain, though, for the lead, and he's running out of time to do it.
Yeah, except they're running out of time, of course, as it stands as well. Behind it is, I mean, they're all very, very close on pace. Chardier, last time out, was the fastest out of the top three. But as long as Storm keeps putting in the low 24s, I don't think there is really a chance for these two guys to close in 2.5 seconds. Considering we know how fast Storm is, we can see him though.
23.860.
Oh my goodness, Chardier, the first man to break into the 23s. Maybe he can catch Storm, but of course needs to also pass the Heidi if he wants to have a chance to win this race. Oh, the Heidi getting out of shape through the first corner, and I'm sure the Heidi does not want to give up this second place, whether he feels like he can catch Storm or not. So this could be a really, really good battle if Chardier keeps this up and gets even closer to the back of that Z4.
Absolutely. Still, it's just ticking under 2 seconds at, within the braking zones at least, between Heidi and Storm. Of course, Heidi is concentrating on the fact that his rear mirrors is just lit up with the headlights of that Audi. As we saw that 23.8 from Chardier, still maintaining that kind of pace. A couple of tenths slower was Storm, but it's going to take more than that for that gap to close down. Into turn 12, back into the infield section. There was absolutely nothing separating the Z4 and the Audi. I thought this was going to be a day for the Mercedes, but once again the Audis are coming through. Right in that mixture is the Z4. Let's see what the lap times are this time. 24.1 by Storm. 24.1. 24.1. All of them within the same tenth of a second. I mean, you cannot get more consistent than that.
Just shows how close these guys are, really. All of these guys driving at the absolute top level of performance in these cars. There's 2 Audis and a BMW Z4, but all of them absolute at the top of their game, pushing super, super hard. Must be slightly frustrating, really, for the Heidi and Chardier to be setting this good lap times and still not getting any closer to Storm up in the lead. But the Chardier has got this target right ahead of him, braking very late there as well. Here's Chardier almost pushing the Heidi through these slow medium speed corners. There we go then. Can he get a good exit onto the main straight, of course, by far the longest straight on the circuit, losing a bit of time on the exit, but could get a bit of slipstream effect potentially going down the straight. That Z4 though pulling very nicely away in the braking zone, in the acceleration, and then in the braking zone, Chardier right back on it again, but that time it was a little bit too deep, which means he's lost some time through the corner. Now coming on to what is actually the main straight. I keep getting confused by the two corners that look very similar, going to that little mini back straight and then onto the actual main straight.
You can see how early the Z4 going across to the right hand side. 24.0 by Storm, 24.2 by both the Heidi and Chardier. So of course that battling is slowing them down exactly as you would expect, and that is allowing Storm to keep building on that gap. 58 laps done out of 63. If anybody has not pitted, I think we've established that everybody has at least once, and if anyone were to pit now that hadn't served their mandatory pit stop would be disqualified. Still battling going on outside of this particular. Oh no! Sooner do I say that, it's popped. Oh, that's the car that keeps confusing me. That's Steve's. At some point, Steve has parked the Porsche, which I hadn't noticed. So
yeah, I'm sure though that Porsche is already pitted. So has he misjudged his fuel?
That's the most likely. I mean, the car looks immaculate, so I don't know. There doesn't appear to be any damage on there. So yeah, it would be that he has. Oh, why didn't I think of it earlier? Yeah, he's misjudged the fuel. So he's got less than a litre.
Can we quickly check the fuel load of the top three?
10 for
10,
Storm.
7, 12.9, 12.8. Okay, so those two should be fine. Storm is a couple of litres less than these two.
Whether that's helping, who knows? Storm was ironically the slowest of the three by about 7 hundredths of a second. So, huge gap suddenly forming now. We are on lap 60 of 63 of this hour-and-a-half race here at Indianapolis. It has been battling from lights to now. Popsu has dropped himself. Popsu's going backwards. He'd stopped when we. He didn't take on any fuel. He hadn't taken any fuel on. That's.
Is he even going out of the pits again?
Oh, he's probably triggering the pit stop again.
Okay.
Well, he wouldn't make it. He wouldn't make it with 0.4 litres of fuel. And there's no one there.
His pit crew is just taking holiday, I think.
I think they've just.
Pit crew's gone home.
Yeah. I think that's gone horribly wrong for Popsu. He will not be building on the 7th and 5th that he's had in this season so far. I think we'll spare him the indignity of staring at him. That's gone horribly wrong for Popsu, and it's not due to get any better. He's got 1 point still on the board, but of course Berserker will catch him eventually. So then,
here we go then. This is the battle really that we have to look at for the final 3 laps of this race. They are still all over the back of the Heidi, and he keeps braking super late to Shadia, but every time he finds that Z4 in his way, he can't get any. He can't maybe break his leg as he wants to, even, because that Z4 is right there. The other Z4 though, with the Lobos, is not far behind. It's at a 3-way battle going.
Yeah.
Zenny and
a Speed Demon.
Gibbs. This is very interesting indeed.
I think Speed Demon's made mistakes away here. He was 27-3 last time around, so he's put himself right in this battle. And Villalobos is right on the back of them. And again, you can see that Speed Demon's Audi going very deep on that turn 13. So, and Popsu has come back out of the pits. Did he get fuel? Yes, he did. So Popsu finally convincing his pit crew to actually put some fuel in his car. Look at that stream. That's Zenny, Speed Demon, Gibbs, Villalobos, and I think Nick Meadows in there as well. Yeah, the orange McLaren at the back of that particular pack. They are continuing to fight, but right at the front still, that Audi still pushing that Z4 along. Just nothing Jardier can do. He's just got no answer to Heidi's great defensive positioning.
Yeah, the Heidi's just too consistent, really. I mean, all of these guys are.
Yeah.
All of them constantly in the low 24s. But as long as the Heidi keeps doing that, I mean, when these 3 guys are all going in the low 24s all the time, then you can probably be quite sure that it's not really possible to go much faster.
Yeah. So, and I think we saw that 23.8. I think when Jardier was under a lot of slipstream from the back of the Heidi's car, because we haven't seen a 23 since. So that pretty much is the extreme of what these cars can do.
Yeah, definitely. And only 1 penalty so far this race as well, which you can see again. And Lexus is speeding penalty just like last week, where there was no penalty at all. So it's good to see.
Oh dear!
Oh no!
Another one that's miscalculated their fuel, I think.
By 2 laps as well. No, it's 3 laps actually for him.
Yeah, he wouldn't make it on 1.8 litres, so he had no choice. Had to bring it in. Otherwise, he would park it on the side of the road. So then, for the penultimate time, around turn 14, comes Storm. He's got a few back markers ahead of him, but they shouldn't be. And a flash of the lights. That is the correct use of that. And you can see in the background Jardier and De Heidi still crossing swords as they are heading towards turn 1. No dramas for Storm at the moment. All 3 of the top runners still getting through. The Lambo gets out of the way. That is Popsu. And as his race has gone from bad to disastrous, it started badly for the front runner from last season and has not improved. As these 3 then go through 5, 6, heading towards 7. And Jardier again thinks about the inside move, but he's just nowhere near close enough to De Heidi to make it work. And there goes Storm, now with that Lamborghini in between himself and the people behind him. He's lost a little bit of time, but again, not enough to be under pressure. Around turn 11. That's, I think that if that's Popsu, then that is Colonel McCoy's Audi we're just seeing going out of the shop. That's not going to be close enough to bother him. Colonel McCoy's in. That's such a shame. There he is again, less than a litre in the car. But your winner here in Indianapolis, it is TX3 Storm by 2.5 seconds, throws it into the wall, destroys the car. Why not? It'll get another one for next week. Heidi crosses the line second, Jardier 3, and Dinder another 15 seconds down the road. But he'll get the yellow flag, but not going to worry about it. There he is. A great effort for him in the Merc in fourth. Scott, another 13 seconds down the road in the blue Mercedes, is going to take fifth. A great effort for him. He didn't do so well last week. It was 15th last week, so he'll be quite happy for that. Johan will cross the line, 6th position. He's had an 18th from the 10th so far, so he'll be quite happy for a big old handful of points there. There's Zenny in 7th with Speed Demon. His run of thirds has been broken. Well, his run of thirds, he's had 2 of them. That's a lot of bits of cars. Wow, look. Someone's on the roof.
Oh my goodness, that's gone hilarious.
Well, if you're going to celebrate, do it in style. And that is everybody that has crossed the line. And there are your final confirmed positions then. Storm taking the win, the Heidi 2, Jardier 3, Dinder 4, Scott 5, Johan 6, Zenny 7, Speed Demon 8, Villalobos 9, Nick Mido remaining in the top 10 with Hunter 11, Nisterowitz 12, Adalexis 13, 2 Deserback 14, Ironic 15, Noah 16, Gibbs 17, Danny 18, Colonel McCoy 19, Popsu having been through the pits more than most in 20th, and Berserker rounding out the field.
At least Popsy got 1 point for his troubles.
He did.
Pit lane. So it's not completely wasted in the day, even though of course it's gonna hurt a lot in the championship. It's gonna hurt a lot for Speed Demon as well, really, to finish 8th after being 3rd in the championship. Relative when he was up there right with Jardier, Heidi, and Storm, who have all continued their impressive start of the season. All 3 on the podium. So those 3 are gonna still sit there pretty at the top of the championship. Of course, Storm was leading the championship by 12 points over the Heidi before this race. He's going to extend that now a little bit further. It's about, of course, no point for pole position this week because we didn't have a qualifying. But that's still 5 points more. Is it 7 points? They've changed the points a little bit. Is it 7 points more you get for a win compared to second, I believe?
I confess I can't remember the point structure, which is quite
6
bad.
Points more. It is 50 for a win, 44 for second, and yeah, Jardier will pick up 38 points in third. So that should be then as well the same as the results in the race. Should be also the top 3 in the championship as it stands.
Well, nice and consistent. That's easy to remember. I'm afraid for the interviews, I'm going to have to love you and leave you at this stage because I need to deal with my youngsters. So.
I see.
So, yes, I am abandoning you again. I abandoned you at the beginning to sort the grid out, and I am abandoning you again. I will be fired before the end of the week.
Oh, well. I'll let you do it, just for tonight.
For anyone attending Silverstone, myself and Fizzy will be there this weekend, which I have no bones about admitting I'm exceedingly excited about, because it's the first time I've attended a race live. So,
really?
Yes, I've never attended.
Really?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Really?
I've got to this stage of my life and having never attended a race, but that will be sorted out this weekend. I cannot wait for anyone attending. Please do come and find us. It will be great to put faces to names. But for now, I must depart. Thank you for those that have been with us in the stream. Thank you to Fizzy for letting me waffle in my own special way.
Yeah, no worries. I prefer pancakes, but sure.
And I will see you all next time.